pick the place, get someone to handle all the details, and show up. That'd be very different, wouldn't it? Or if you just focused on the results, if you focused on the result, what would you say? You'd say, we're going to be tomorrow, 3 days from now, next week, you and I are going to be sitting in the piazza, or you're going to say, we're going to be in a gondola in the middle of the night, maybe at midnight, with a singer going between these little canals. He's going to be singing beautiful Italian music, and we'll just have the most magnificent dinner of our lives. And we'll be dancing together in the square. And we'll be walking along the place where history was made. The greatest musicians and artists and painters were ever there. And we're going to be making love all night long. And I'm going to write poetry to you in the morning. Like, call the travel agent. Is it a different experience, yes or no? Totally different experience. How about working out? You know, most people start working out, they go, oh, it's working out. I don't have time to work out. Why not? Well, I don't belong to a gym. Well, why don't you? Well, you know, I don't have time. You got to, first you got to get yellow pages. You know, look up and see what gyms in the area. Then you got to go, you know, call them, see what their hours are. And then you got to drive so you can check it out because you don't know if it's really the right place. So you go there and you have to go through the little parking guy. You got to take a ticket. You got to go in there. And then you got to go to the front desk and say, I'm looking. And then they'll take you around. They show you one machine. They show you another machine. They walk you through the place. They take you to here. And then you have to go there. Then you sit down for a 3-hour presentation on why you should buy 200 years worth of this sponsorship. And you have some salesman talking at you, and all you really want to do is check it out. And then let's say you buy it. You got to take out your credit card. They got to process it. They got to come run the little machine over. You got to sign the thing. Then you got to go take a picture that makes you look worse than your driver's license does. You take that picture, you got your little card, and then they give you a key. And you take the key, and you got to go get a towel. Now you get the towel, and now you got to go find your locker. You find your locker, undo your locker, now you got to do, you got to hang your stuff on the hook, that you know the minute you close the locker, all your stuff's going to fall down and be wrinkled. So you do that, you put on your other clothes, and now you go out and you go to the first machine and it's sweaty. So you got to wipe the thing off, and you do it. You go to the second machine, there's somebody waiting there. After you got to wipe it off, then you got to adjust the weight. Then you got to go in and do your exercise, and then you got to go to the next one and do it. Then you go to another one and another one and another one. After all that, you got to go back, and you got to go take off all your clothes and pick up those things and put these smelly, stinky clothes in your bag that will be in your car later on. Now you got to go take a shower or a steam around other people who you're going to see much more of than you ever wanted to see. Then you got to put on your hair or your makeup or shave, whatever, all over again, spray all the stuff on. Now you got to put on your wrinkled clothes, take your little bag, and then you got to go to the front desk and you got to show them your things so they stamp your parking thing so you don't get charged for it. Now you got to walk out and find your car in the parking lot, open up with the stinky bag in the trunk, and you got to get in, you got to give the thing to the guy and drive off. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to work out. Want to eat? Sure. What do you got to do? Do it. They chunk eating as one thing. They chunk working out as 5 billion elements. You can't imagine how many things you don't do because of the way you chunk. Now, chunking is an art. RPM, I call the art and science of creating an extraordinary life, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to teach you the science. The science is the thinking process. The system, that's the same every time. The art is the words you bring to it. The art is, do you chunk things? If you try and eat a whale in one bite, that's chunking up too much. That's overwhelming. If you chop it into 8 million pieces, you're going to be overwhelmed also. There's an ideal size for chunking. So what is chunking at its essence? Chunking is the process of turning more into less. Chunking is the process of turning more into less. What does that mean? It means instead of having all these millions of things, it's now working out. Remember when we tried to drive that stick shift car in the beginning? You had 50 things you're doing. I gotta do this and that. I gotta push the accelerator, and I gotta do the clutch, and I gotta put in gear, and I gotta watch the road too. It'll never happen. But after a while, it just became driving. Now you talk on the phone, shift gears, and everything else because it's one thing. We're going to show you how to chunk your whole life, how to take everything in your life and turn it into maybe 8 or 10 things you focus on, and show you how to make